As stated, Eric and I are here from the Institute of Power Engineers. We're here to try to explain and shed some light on just who the Institute of Power Engineers are and what a power engineer is, because most people don't really know what we are and what we do. And we'd hopefully like to shed some light on the benefits to hiring power engineers into the LNG industry and the benefits that we can have on the plants to operate. As stated, I'm a first-class power engineer and worked in many industries. I've been in the pulp business, refining, utilities, combined cycle. Eric and I started together in the late 70s, and we've gone in different directions and have now come back together and worked together in the IPE. Eric is also a first-class power engineer. He is the past president of the National for the organization across the country. He is currently the president of the Vancouver branch of the Institute of Power Engineers, and we work together on that executive. So Eric is going to walk us through our presentation and hopefully shed some light on who power engineers are.
Good afternoon. The definition of power engineers that I like comes from Pan Global Training Systems. Pan Global is a company developed by BCIT, SAIT, and NAIT, who develop training materials for power engineers. They wrote a power engineer is a technically skilled and knowledgeable professional who is certified and responsible to safely and efficiently operate equipment and processes that are regulated by boiler and pressure vessel legislation. The benefits of hiring a power engineer include improved safety, increased efficiency, tighter control of process, product parameters, improved response to condition upsets and product quality control, reduced operating costs and longer life cycle of plant equipment. As plants developed in size, complexity, and capability, the value of education for the operating engineers became more and more evident, and this drove the growth of development of the educational requirements and levels of certification of power engineers. A power engineer, also called a stationary engineer, that's what they call them in Ontario, is a practitioner who operates industrial machinery and equipment that provide energy in various forms. They're trained in many areas, including mechanical, thermal, chemical, electrical, metallurgical, computer, and a wide range of safety skills. They typically work in factories, office buildings, hospitals, warehouses, power generation plants, industrial facilities, and residential and commercial buildings. Now, Employment and Social Development Canada, ESDS, used to be Human Resources Canada. Their description is another description that goes on for pages. Operate automated or computerized control systems, stationary engines, auxiliary equipment such as reactors, boilers, turbines, generators, pumps, compressors, pollution control devices, and other equipment to generate electrical power and to provide light, heat, ventilation, and refrigeration for buildings and industrial plants. Monitor and inspect plant equipment, computer terminals, switches, valves, gauges, alarms, meters, and other instruments to measure temperature, pressure, air, and airflow. Continuous monitoring of emissions to detect leaks or other equipment malfunctions and to ensure plant equipment is operating at maximum efficiency. We have to look after the environment. Analyze and record instrument readings and equipment malfunctions, troubleshoot and perform corrective actions and minor repairs to prevent equipment or system failure. Have the ability to respond in emergency situations, assist in the development of operation, maintenance, and safety procedures, clean and lubricate generator, turbines, pumps, and compressors, maintain a daily log, ensure that health and safety, environmental, fuel safety, fire regulations, and applicable boiler, pressure vessel, refrigeration regulations and standards for provincial territorial jurisdictions are complied with, assist in the development of operation and maintenance and safety procedures. Is it a profession? Power engineering is not an apprenticeship trade. However, it is divided into classifications of skill and training. So basically, you go to BCIT or SAIT or NAIT for 2 years, and you have the training as long as you get some qualifying time, but with that qualifying time, you can write your third-class power engineer certificate. Also, power engineers can advance beyond the trade equivalent to the second and first class and take on a greater technical and leadership role. NAPSAC is the National Public Safety Advisory Committee. the only national body working at consistent administration of safety codes and standards for elevating devices, amusement rides, boilers, and pressure vessels and electrical safety right across Canada. The standardization of power engineering certification across Canada, well, we got a request from NAPSAC, the Association of Chief Inspectors began to develop standardized requirements for sizing of plants. This is something we were talking about at lunch. Power engineers had different requirements right across the country up until a couple of years ago, and now we're trying to even them out. It'll be up to each jurisdiction to decide when to include those requirements in their legislation. SOPEC, the Standardization of Power Engineer Examinations Committee, is a committee delegated by responsible to ACI. SOPEC was formed in '72 to promote a uniform examination system and improve mobility of power engineers across Canada. SOPEC is a national committee representing all Canadian jurisdictions and the Federal Department of Employment and Social Development Canada. We have another committee feeding up into SOPEC, which feeds up into ACI, which feeds up into NAPSAC. NAPSAC is where the insurance people are. IPEC is the Interprovincial Power Engineering Curriculum Committee. It's an innovative organization advising SOPEC on matters related to examinations, curriculum, and syllabi for persons pursuing careers in power engineering. I'm telling all of this to you to get you ready for what's in a power engineering exam. IPEC is an open membership committee. The Institute of Power Engineers has members on every one of IPEC's subcommittees.
The city is alive. Have you ever wondered how it all works? Where does the energy come from? Who keeps the lights on? At the heart of the city is the power engineer.
The power engineering course, for example, has, we'll say, about 30 lectures. And every lecture deals specifically with one subject. If you look at the whole program of power engineering, you don't look at it as a burden. You look at it as you're traveling. I'm traveling today to water treatment. I'm traveling today to air compressors. I'm traveling to, we'll say, diesel engines. So if you look at it that way, it's very interesting because it's preparing you to do many types of jobs.
I went to school at BCIT in Burnaby, British Columbia. It was 2 one-year programs when I took it. I believe it's a 2-year program now called Power and Process Engineering that focuses on getting you your 4th and then your 3rd class power engineering certificate. The types of courses that you take in that program include stuff from power plant theory to HVAC theory, and as well as some more advanced stuff like thermodynamics and advanced physics. I got into power engineering because I'm fairly familiar with it. My father's been a power engineer for all of my life, and so I'm familiar with the kind of work that they do, and it seemed like it was something that appeals to me. I was also attracted to the type of job, working on heavy-duty mechanical equipment, and of course the salary as well. I think my dream job as a power engineer is the one that I just got, actually. I just got hired by BC Hydro at their combined cycle generating station in Fort Nelson, BC. And what a combined cycle plant is when they use a gas turbine and a steam turbine in conjunction to make power. And I think the variety of equipment and kind of stuff that you can work on, experience to gain in that position is really attractive to me.
Lots of people become power engineers because they know about it from their dad, their grandfather, or their uncle. Power engineering certification standards in Canada regulated, as I mentioned, under ACI, examined by authorities across the country. Here in BC, it's called the BC Safety Authority. All classes of power engineers need to pass the SOPEC exams before being issued a certificate of competency. They also need qualifying time. In obtaining their certificate, all classes of power engineers need to be signed off in a steam plant by the chief power engineer. Provincial or territorial regulations require a specified amount of experience in a qualified plant. Successful completion of an approved course is required along with approved work experience, or successful completion of a distance education course is required with approved work experience. SOPEC covers 5 classes of power engineers, beginning with the 5th class and elevating to 1st class. The Interprovincial Power Engineers Curriculum Committee is responsible to ensure the course curriculum for power engineers aligns with the SOPEC examination syllabus, and makes recommendation to SOPEC for changes. First class is recognized as the highest achievement of power engineering and can hold the position of chief power engineer or shift engineer in any registered plant in Canada. Fifth class is recognized in the 4 Western provinces and 3 territories. Qualifying time. Power engineers may desire to obtain qualifying time to be able to write the next level of power engineering exams. This may prevent them from agreeing to work in a plant where qualifying time is not available. Fourth class needs 6 months to a year of qualifying time. Third class needs 12 to 24 months. Second class, another 24 to 36 months. First class, another 24 to 48 months, for a total of 60 to 120 months, or 5 to 10 years. Here's the examinations they have and the prerequisites required for them. The fourth class has 2 exams, A1 and B1. You need to be a third class Marine or complete a full-time fourth class course, or complete an approved fourth class correspondence course plus 6 to 18 months work experience. Third has 4 exams. These exams are half-day exams, so these 4 exams are going to take you 2 days to write. Usually the guys challenge them one at a time. You need to be a second class Marine or a third class Marine, one with a motor or one with steam. Fourth class power engineer certificate plus 12 to 24 months experience. Second class is made up of 6 exams, and the requirements are there. You need to be a third with 24 to 36 months work experience, and the first class has 8 exams, so it takes 4 days to write, and you either need to be a first class Marine steam or a second class power engineer with 30 to 45 months work experience. The exams for the fourth, the syllabus is here. The first exam has applied mechanics, elementary mechanics, thermodynamics, drawing, women's plant safety, fire protection, high pressure boiler design, boiler parts and operation. The second exam has prime movers, air compression, electricity, heating boilers, auxiliary building systems, air conditioning, types of plants. Those 2 exams, if you pass them, you will get a fourth class certificate with the appropriate qualifying time. Third class has 4 exams, so they split the subjects up a bit and the intensity grows. So you have applied mechanics, thermodynamics in the first paper, along with industrial drawings. Then in second paper, legislation, codes, instrumentation. Third paper, boilers, pumps, boiler inspection, welding inspection. Then the last paper, prime movers, cogen, compressors, refrigeration, that kind of thing. 4 papers for the third, 6 papers for the second. Again, codes, thermodynamics, mechanics. Nothing really unusual there, just a little more intense. And first class, 8 papers. Thermodynamics, again, mechanics, applied engineering technologies, power plant operation, legislation, safety, business and workforce management. So now they're trying to train you to manage the plant. So the knowledge is split 20% to fourth. As you move up the ladder, 40% to third class, 80% of the body of knowledge with your second, and 100% with your first. The class of power engineer required for a plant is based on the province's or jurisdiction's regulations. Generally, for larger power plant output rating, a higher level of certification is required. The lower classifications are typically responsible for smaller, less complex plants. BCIT Power Engineering Certificate and Diploma programs offer the theoretical and practical training needed for all 5 levels of power engineering certification. Some approved power engineering training institutions offer the student the ability to operate equipment. Like BCIT, they have their own plant there. So they receive some credit for qualifying time as they work on their fourth, for example. Other institutions have no labs and do not provide the student with qualifying time. Vancouver Island University does run a program where they collaborate with employers and they send their guys out to the field to work at Harmac Pulp Mill, for example. In summary, the benefits of power engineers are they have nationally standardized certification with solid practical, theoretical, and technical knowledge with progressive operating and maintenance experience. Contemporary industrial plants are a collection of extreme service equipment, including gas turbines that are built to operate at high speeds, temperatures, and pressures, and required to produce products of challenging specifications. For example, steam, electricity, and chemicals. Close clearances, high tolerances, corrosion resistance, highly complex parts containing exotic component materials, computer-controlled processes have evolved with increased efficiencies and productivity. Final oversight is necessary and must be provided by highly skilled and qualified operators. Employment of power engineers in the safe and efficient operation and maintenance of plant equipment aligns with world-class best practices and makes good business sense. In most cases, licensing exists locally due to some catastrophic event or happening which caused the populace to conclude that persons operating boilers and related equipment must be licensed with testing of their knowledge to ensure the safety of those in the community. Hiring power engineers who are members of the Institute of Power Engineers ensures employees who have signed on to a higher code of ethics and keep up to date with colleagues throughout the energy field. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you for your time, Tom and Eric. You guys have a